Joined by Frankie Corrado. Frankie, Paul Maurice had all the right answers through the first three rounds and then again through the first three games of the Stanley Cup Final. But since game four, Maurice and the Panthers have had no answers for Connor McDavid. Back-to-back 4-point games, much more importantly, back-to-back Oiler wins. Frankie, what can Maurice do so the Panthers can try at least to stop Connor McDavid?
I don't know, Gino, maybe say a prayer because Connor McDavid is playing at a level that we haven't really seen from him before. And that's saying a lot because he's the best player in the world and has been for quite some time now. I guess if you're Paul Maurice and you're thinking about how you need to slow down Connor McDavid, you have to do everything you can to recognize when you can get a matchup on the ice that's favorable for you. So that means having Forsling on the ice. That means having Barkov on the ice as much as possible. And yes, there are going to be times where that's not possible, and you're going to have a guy like Mikkola or Kulikov or Lundell down the middle of the ice. Like, how can those guys bide a little bit of time, whether it's 15 to 20, 25 seconds of a shift, so they can get the matchup that they want onto the ice? It's not going to be easy because not only are you playing the game, not only do you need to be aware of the puck is, maybe you're going to be able to go on offense. Now you're looking at the bench. Now you're looking at your coach thinking, okay, do I get off here so we can get our matchup? It's the game within the game, and the Panthers need to get back to winning that in order to have success in Edmonton.
Maurice started the series with his usual great press conferences, going viral, joke after joke, but things have dramatically changed now. Frankie, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned do you think he is going into tonight's Game 6?
There would have to be quite a bit of concern and a little bit of worry just based on what's at stake here. Your team is up 3-0. You have multiple chances to close out the Oilers and put this thing away. And now you've allowed Connor McDavid to heat up. 8 points over his last 2 games. Now all of a sudden your goaltender is the one who's letting in the squeaky soft goal. And the other goaltender seems to have found his game and his rhythm. So that's a little bit different. The other thing that would make Paul Maurice a little concerned is that early on in the series, it was the Panthers forcing the Oilers to make the critical mistake. You know, there's a second period early on in the series where it's a 6-minute stretch that loses an Oiler game for them. Well, now it's the Panthers making those mistakes, and it's costing them shorthanded goals. And so now that's taking the momentum away from the Panthers. If Maurice can get the Panthers to limit the mistakes and Bobrovsky makes the saves, you'll live with whatever McDavid is going to do. Sometimes he's just too good, but I would imagine there's a lot of concern based on the way the last 2 games have gone for them.
On the flip side, Chris Knoblauch has done an incredible job coaching the Oilers in a very tough spot. He says there's no reason for his team to feel nervous right now because he says they're playing with house money because no one expected them to get this far after falling behind 3-0. Frankie, how much do you think Knoblauch's demeanor has helped them to get this far?
It had to have helped them quite a bit. Like, when you watch him after games, he seems very stoic. And I wonder how much of that gets conveyed to his room. It doesn't seem like he's this big rah-rah type of guy, but it does seem like the message that he sends, it seems like everyone is absorbing that and understanding that. And I like the way he's played everything. He's never gotten ahead of himself. He's always kind of made it seem like people are doubting the Oilers. No one's giving the Oilers a chance. We're the underdogs in the series. And it may be true that they have been the underdogs, but not for a second do I believe that a team that boasts McDavid and Draisaitl and the best power play we've ever seen and Evan Bouchard, who's doing historic numbers on the back end, like, I don't buy that no one was giving the Oilers a chance. They were down 3-0 in this series for a reason, and they've clawed their way back. I guess now the challenge, Gino, is to get yourself from a mindset of, hey, we made this series respectable. You know, now if we lose, it looks like we lost in 6 games. We didn't get swept. We didn't lose in 5. To realizing you can actually win this thing. But it's going to take a bigger effort tonight because the Florida Panthers will have that much more that they're playing with as well. So I like the way Knoblauch has played everything, and he's been very stoic along the way. And I think his team has absorbed that.
For comparison's sake, tonight's game will be the 1985th of Maurice's coaching career. It's the 93rd game for Knoblauch. The experience gap between these two is the biggest in Stanley Cup Final history.